The U.S. seizing a second oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. President Trump accusing Maduro's regime of stealing U.S. assets to finance criminal activity and declaring it a terrorist organization. Hudson Institute senior fellow Rebecca Heinrichs joins us now. Rebecca, good morning. This is now obviously the second time that the Trump administration has seized a tanker, saying that they are going to stop all unsanctioned oil tankers. What do you make of this development?
Well, look, the administration is following through on exactly what they said they would do, Griff. And Marco Rubio just said over the weekend, too, that the status quo with Maduro in power in Maduro is not sustainable for the United States. It's intolerable. And so you're going to see this pressure campaign continue, interdicting sanctioned oil coming out of Venezuela. Most of the oil, as you know, Griff, is going to China. China is Maduro's biggest backer when it comes to buying Venezuelan oil. Of course, then you have Venezuela using the shadow fleet and also selling heavy crude to Iran. And then Iran, of course, gives Venezuela what it needs. And so it's also being supported by some of our other biggest adversaries, Griff. And
this sanctioned oil, by the way, goes back years. But now you look at the enforcement, which is really unprecedented. You have more than 15% of U.S. deployed naval ships in the Caribbean. Do you foresee that they're going to be able to continue to enforce this blockade?
Oh, yeah, I think that we're going to see this for the next several weeks. As you said, you know, it's one thing to just have sanctions on this illicit oil that's propping up the regime. But what's notable here is that we are now finally enforcing it. And, you know, the Trump administration has really kind of had this ongoing narrative that American foreign policy is a lot of talk, it's a lot of rhetoric over the years, but it hasn't been truly effective in doing things that strengthen and secure American interests. And it is now looking for these outcomes that make Americans safer. The other thing, Griff, that's important is the Trump administration put sanctions back on some of Maduro's relatives, his nephews, these narco nephews, who the Biden administration lifted these sanctions. They're putting them back on because they are directly supporting the narco terrorism in Venezuela.
Yeah, those sanctions are significant. And really the last we've seen of Maduro, who knows what his move is. Last time we saw him, he was singing Bobby Farron's Don't Worry, Be Happy. But clearly he is feeling that pressure. Let me change gears quickly, Rebecca, to Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu will reportedly brief Trump on possible new Iran strikes when they meet at Mar-a-Lago on December 29th. What do you make of that?
Well, look, the Iran regime has tried to rehabilitate itself after these incredibly successful military strikes on the part of the Israelis against Iran. And then, of course, the United States came in with Operation Midnight Hammer and had that very effective strikes against Iran's illicit, illegal nuclear program. But the missile program, Griff, Iran's missile program goes hand in glove with its nuclear program, and it's continuing to try to rebuild its missiles with the help of China. China has provided component parts and the funding for that. And so Netanyahu wants to talk to President Trump, his closest ally, to say, look, we might have to do some strikes again, which we knew this was going to happen. There wasn't going to be a permanent solution here with the Iranian menace. It's going to continue to require Israeli and the United States' support to keep the Iran regime weakened so that it cannot harm our troops in the region and our allies.
We'll be following it. Netanyahu also teasing that he might visit New York City despite Mayor-elect Mamdani threatening to arrest him. We'll see if that happens. Rebecca Heinrichs, thank you very much, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Greg.